Eat the microphone. Okay, my name is Tom Fry and I'm taking over for Bill Atwood, who is not here today. And our vice chairman has a hearing aid issue. So they asked me to take over for the meeting today. So at this time, we'll do item number 1, Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Aye. To the republic. Thank you, everybody. Don't have any little snippets like Mr. Bill has every time, so we'll just move on to number 2 is public comment. This time is made available for comments from the public on matters within the Civil Service Commission's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda. Each speaker be limited to 3 minutes. Being none at this time, we'll move on to consent calendar. Assume you all read it and understand it. We'll entertain a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve, 1 absent.
Okay, we'll move down to item number 4, regular business. 4.A is subsection 10127, September voluntary demotion for Maria Bautista. Ratification of a voluntary demotion for Maria Bautista from Deputy Sheriff 1 to Correctional Officer 1 within the Sheriff's Office Jail effective September 25th to September 25th of 2023.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sabrina Mendez, Department of Human Resources. This is a request for a voluntary demotion from Maria from a Deputy Sheriff 1 to a Correctional Officer 1 within the Sheriff's Office. And both Maria and the department are in agreement with the effective date. So I'm available for any questions if you have any, and this is for your review and consideration.
So from the streets to the inside, huh?
Yes,
Is there a financial difference in pay?
there is. I'm sorry, I don't have those exact figures, but she is aware that there is a difference in pay and she will be placed on the range closest to what she is currently making based on our county code.
Move to accept.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
All right, thank you. Item 4B, 10123, October, voluntary demotion, Herberto Diaz, ratification of voluntary demotion for Herberto Diaz from Social Worker 1 to an Office Assistant 2, Department of Social Services, effective October 1st, 2023.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. This is a request for Heriberto Diaz from a Social Worker 1 to an Office Assistant 2, Department of Social Services. And both Heriberto and the department are in agreement with the effective date of October 1st.
With these effective dates, the previous one being the 25th of September and this one October 1st, what have they, does that mean they've already been completing these responsibilities or working in that capacity?
They have, so I do contact the department to ensure that they are functioning at the requested classification. I typically, it's in agreement with the employee and the department. The department does evaluate its operational needs, and if that's feasible for them, then they usually will take into consideration the effective date that the employee is requesting. It has been past practice that we allow for them to voluntarily demote before we bring these before you. If there's a concern, we can certainly reevaluate that. There are different circumstances, so we do evaluate on a case-by-case basis.
All right. And then just the only real, besides their responsibility, the only other thing is just payroll, right?
Correct.
So they would be their pay started with the new
Correct.
position as okay. I just want a clarification on that. Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move to accept.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Item 4D, 10108, correctional officer lateral policy. Amend the policy and
No, we
guidelines.
skipped
I'm
them.
sorry, Tom, I
Did
think
I?
we forgot 4C.
Oh, I did. Sorry, my bad. Go back. Item 4C, 10122, October voluntary demotion, Daryl Smith. Ratification of voluntary demotion for Daryl Smith from program manager to a behavioral health program supervisor, behavioral health services, effective November 1, 2023.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. This is a request for a voluntary demotion for Daryl Smith from a program manager to a behavioral health program supervisor, Department of Behavioral Health Services. And this will be effective November 1st if this is approved. So this is for your review and consideration.
Since this is the last voluntary demotion, I just want to make on public record, kind of a word out to employees as these demotions come to the Civil Service Commission. If you did have any comment or felt as if the term demotion or decrease in pay didn't meet your what you feel is acceptable or what you agreed to, this would be the place to kind of intercept that communication and give us the opportunity to review it. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward, right? HR signs off on it, management signs off on it, employee signs off on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just also wanted to note, I did speak with both Heriberto and Daryl. I didn't have the opportunity to speak with Maria. But I did, when I do speak to the individuals, I do let them know that they are welcome to come. They are not obligated to come, but they are more than welcome to come in case you have any questions or if they would like to, comment on anything.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you. All right. I move to accept.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Okay, now, for the second time, we'll do item 4D, 10108. Correctional officer lateral policy. Amend the policy and guidelines on lateral transfer for correctional officer 1 and correctional officer 2 as outlined in the discussion section of the agenda item.
Good evening, Commissioners. Human Resources is proposing to amend the policy and guidelines on lateral transfer for Correctional Officer 1-2 in order to correctly reflect the background requirements of the position and the process for establishing the eligible list. The current eligible list language has been modified to be consistent with Civil Service Rule 6.4. You may remember in April of 2021, those rules were amended. And so this is just bringing it in line with that verbiage.
Do we have any questions?
No.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
We have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Item 4E, 10109, Deputy Sheriff Lateral Policy. Amend the policy and guidelines on lateral transfer for the Deputy Sheriff 1 and Deputy Sheriff 2 as outlined in the discussion section of the agenda item.
Yes, so this item is similar to the item presented previously. Human Resources is proposing to amend the policy and guidelines on lateral transfer for Deputy Sheriff 1 and 2 in order to correctly reflect the background requirements again of the position and the process for establishing the eligible list. And the current eligible list language has been modified to be consistent as well with Civil Service Rule 6-4. And this is for your review and consideration.
Okay, do we have any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to accept.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Thank you. Item 4F, 10129, Hearing setting conference for SEIU, scheduling a hearing for appeal of grievance 84628 SEIU. Please introduce yourself and where you're from.
Good evening, Commissioners. Matthew Lear, appearing on behalf of the County of Madera. I'm from the Lozano Smith Law Firm.
Can you say the name of the law firm again?
Lozano Smith.
Okay, thank you. Which one of you wants to go first? What's the plan?
So our office has been in communications with opposing counsel, the council representing SEIU. And we had some dates that we were both available. We're looking at the week of February 19th, 2024, or the week of February 26th, 2024. Well, the county anticipates about 5 to 6 witnesses. SEIU anticipates 4 to 5 witnesses. And I think both sides are requesting at this point 4 evenings to complete the case.
Do we get information on the nature of the case, or is this a or on behalf of a terminated employee or active employee?
Commissioner, the details of this case are confidential right now. But of course, they will be shared during the hearing in more detail.
Yeah, I'm just curious, that's the fastest we can do it, huh? February?
That's the availability from opposing counsel, and also James McCann from our office would be handling this one. That's his earliest availability as well as
Okay.
February.
And I've been informed that February 19th is a holiday for the county. I'm not sure if that day or week will work with the holiday.
Presidents.
Twenty-third is a Friday.
Or if the week of the 26th works. Correct. Yeah, and if the commission is unavailable, let us know what dates would work for the commission. We can discuss that with opposing counsel as well.
I don't see anything on my calendar that far out, so I'm gonna say I'm good with that last week.
Yeah, that's so far out. Everything changes on me every week, so I can't promise anything, but I'll make my best effort regardless.
The 26th would be fine.
And of course, for hearings, it's important that we all commit to those dates and show up on those dates, because the appellant is entitled to the full board to hear. And you can't come and go just one day and pick another day. You got to be here all the time. So if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, we need to know ahead of time. And of course, we won't know until Bill gets back, and staff can ask him, verify that with him as well. So we'll just put them on the calendar and see where we end up.
Understood. So we're looking at February 26th through the 29th, which would be 4 evenings. And I think that, like I said, that works for SEIU communicated to us that works for them, and that works also with our office.
Okay. And keep in mind, it's subject to change between now and then.
Yes, and in the meantime, we're still trying to resolve it with
Sure.
opposing counsel, and hopefully we don't have need for a hearing at all.
Well, ideally, that would be the best solution.
Exactly.
All of it. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much. Item number 5, staff reports.
So can we make a motion on
Oh.
finalizing those dates?
Yep.
Tom, before we adjourn, I want to apologize. I want to thank you for taking over for me, but I'm having issues with my hearing aid. I want to apologize to board members. So
No need, Joe.
sorry about that.
You're
but,
okay.
My dad's been wearing them for years, and I know exactly what you're dealing with.
All right, I make a motion to reserve the February 26th to the 29th for the hearing proposed.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the last week of February for the hearing conference. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
So if I may
Commissioner,
interject before
Oh,
we make a
hold on.
motion. I just wanted to confirm that the start time is 5:30 and would end at 9:30 or 9, depending on what you'd prefer. We
I-
can do
yeah.
5:30 to 9
Yes.
each
And
day.
then we're going to have our regularly scheduled meeting on the 13th. I think it was.
Correct.
Okay.
If we have items, correct.
Yeah,
yes.
because it's 2 weeks later before we get back. So, okay. Is that okay with the motion and the second?
Mhm.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Bill's stuck with it, no matter what he thinks. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to item 5, staff reports.
We do have one report to give this evening.
Sorry, hi, Susan Carter from Human Resources. Roman would have given it if we had talked about it beforehand. Sorry, I'm throwing this at him too. We just want to give you a heads up that if you recall, back in August, September, we brought items to you about the peace officer class and comp study, where we had reviewed job descriptions and salaries and actually created a new salary schedule for the positions. I just wanted to, if you didn't know, I wanted to let you know that we are doing that for the remainder of the classifications in the county with another agency. An outside agency is doing that for us for the remainder of the classes. And it's anticipated that that will be done at the end of this month. So we do anticipate having something for you possibly as early as your November meeting. So we just want to give you that heads up so that you have that frame of reference going into perhaps November to keep on a lookout for it.
And the financial aspect of that is all reviewed and approved by the Board of Supervisors, correct?
So you initially will get basically the report, the recommendation from the outside agency. After we receive the report, then we will meet with the Board of Supervisors and get our parameters for what we can negotiate with the bargaining units. And then that may or may not turn out to be the same thing that's recommended. So
Okay. Some layers there.
Right.
Thank you.
So we'll get something that shows what it is currently and what the proposal may end up being.
correct. They give their recommendation where they believe the position should be as far as on a salary range. And then we negotiate where people, meaning the employees, are going to be in that salary range. So that's the negotiation piece. Every now and then, there might be a request to change a salary range. But typically, when we negotiate, we're negotiating the actual salary placement for these individuals.
That'll be, that could be a long evening.
I'm being optimistic.
Okay. But it's just, I'm sorry, I'm still, shouldn't eat candy while I'm chairman of a meeting. It's just the one study that we're going to be looking at. Or is it going to be more than the one?
So it is one study. They looked at our job descriptions and did make updates to our job descriptions. They might have retitled some positions, reclassified individuals based on the work that they were performing at the time that the study was conducted. Then once they developed those job descriptions, then they went out and actually reviewed the positions against our, we call them benchmark counties, and looked at seeing where the other agencies paid their comparable positions. And then that's the compensation piece of it. And then from that information, they developed a salary schedule, or will be developing if they haven't already. And then their recommendations on where to place our positions in that salary schedule.
Okay.
So
It'll be
a
fun.
lot of reclassifications, job titles. We're gonna get a lot of dialogue.
Some of these job descriptions can be very old and antiquated by what we're doing today with our jobs and stuff, so.
And I do want to point out, because it was questioned, I think Commissioner Perez, you had mentioned it last time. These are like brand new job descriptions. You will not see red lines in them because they are based off of what the employee is performing in those positions. they've then developed the actual spec from that information. So we do not have the red line versions because some of them are completely different. Some of them may just be minor changes, but it's considered to be a brand new spec. Or job spec, excuse
I
me, job
imagine
spec.
in most cases, because of the anticipated pay increases, there's probably not too much objection from the employees. But is there opportunity to object if you have an employee say, wait a minute, I was doing that during that time of that study, but that's not the responsibilities that I want to, have on my job description or this proposed job description.
That can always be a subject to our negotiations with the bargaining units.
Okay.
But typically what the Coffin Associates is the outside party, what they are doing is based off of what the employee presented to them in what does the PDQ stand for?
Position description questionnaire.
Okay.
What they've completed on this questionnaire, that's how that's driving what is in the job description. And this is a review at a moment in time, what the jobs were performing, what the employees were performing. So, we can always, after we're done with everything, we can then take a look at maybe the department has a need for another position, maybe at a higher level. We can look at possibly developing at that point. But this right now, the actual study is just a moment in time on what duties are being performed.
Perfect. All right. And for the 20,000 viewers online right now, if this affects you in any way, please show up to the next commission meeting and voice your opinion during public comment. We'll make sure that you're heard.
I can see Abel likes stirring the pot. It's Halloween. All right. Do we have any other staff reports? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, motion and a second, roll call.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
Commissioner Fry,
Yes.
4-0 vote to approve.
Have a safe drive home, people. A lot of crazies out
Yeah.
there right now.